What up, Solo?
That beat gets me every time, Paula. The
Every time. I love it. I love it.
Yes.
Yes. Well, welcome everyone to Keeping You Wise by Keeping It Real, where we bring authentic and real conversations to fuel the soul that you can share with others. Welcome to our 22nd episode.
Is it been 22?
It's been 22, yes. And we have a really relevant topic tonight on why we stay too long, whether it's in jobs, relationships, patterns, whatever we're doing, right? And so I think with the current environment right now and how rough it is out here for with the economy, with people, I think it's just a relevant topic. So for those who don't know, my name is Paula Bell and I am here joined with my dear friend Solo. So what's up, Solo? How's your week been?
It's been good. I mean, it's been generally anxious, but I'm hanging in there.
All right. I get that. I get that.
Best day of my life. I'm here with you. 22nd episode. It's a hit. I get to hear my favorite so it's looking up. It's looking up. How are you doing?
I love it. This has been a great week for me. I started a new job.
Okay.
And so the job is amazing. Amazing people, already? Amazing culture. I wouldn't say all of that yet. Now I'm only on day 4, but the culture and the people are amazing. So I am grateful for, I'm grateful for this opportunity. So
congratulations.
Well, thank you. But we got 2 amazing guests, and I definitely want to get to them as soon as possible. But before we jump into our topic for this month, I do have a few disclaimers, right? We have to get these disclaimers out here every single time. We are not therapists, y'all. We do not offer any medical advice whatsoever. We are not trained. We are not qualified. We are not able to diagnose nothing or treat any form of mental illness or disorder. Some topics that we have on here may be triggering. So please note that we don't always know where a topic may go. So please feel free to make space for yourself. Take that time. The purpose of Keeping You Wise by Keeping It Real is to have real and authentic conversation that provides wisdom to everyone. So please interact with us via chat. We would love to hear your comments. And if you have any questions, post them in the chat because we might actually be able to answer them live and show them live. Make sure to subscribe to Keeping You Wise by Keeping It Real on YouTube and follow up on Spotify and Apple Podcasts, where we will post these as we have them. So now let's jump right in. Solo, who we got joining us today?
Before I say that, I will say I know that we don't have degrees and we're not licensed to do this, but I do have a PhD. Did you know that?
I did not. A PhD in what?
Party hard degree.
Whatever.
So
whatever.
I have been keeping it real since college.
Whatever.
I am not qualified to diagnose any disease. But tonight we have smarter and wiser people than I, some of the best. We're joined by 2 special guests, Matoya Woods and Valerie Washington. So, welcome.
Hello.
Matoya, Valerie, you want to take a couple of minutes to tell the audience a bit about yourself?
Sure, I'll go first.
Okay.
So my name's Valerie. I am currently in Minnesota by way of Iowa. This is how I met Paula. We actually work together. And I am also the godmom of her beautiful twins. So, but yes, so I've been in the financial services field about a little over 20 something years now. Been a long time. But yeah, that's a little bit about me.
Awesome.
All right. And I'm Matoya. I go by Toya. This is my 2nd time on the show. So thank you for having me back. I do appreciate it. I enjoyed myself a whole lot last time.
Thank you for coming.
My background really is, as everyone on here, is in financial services. I think we all met by way of kind of working in the same environment. My background specifically has been in specialty default collections, quality assurance, and issue management for the financial services. I'm currently in a contract with a financial services firm and doing a little wedding planning, event planning, and I'm an active worship leader at my church, which kind of helps me be connected with the community and it's very meaningful to me. And so that's really it. I'm excited to be here.
So you can sing, Toya, is what you're saying.
A little.
Yeah, you don't get no worship leader if you ain't got those golden pipes, okay?
Poquito.
That's awesome.
Well, you know what? Let's jump in real quick and let's talk about this, because all of us, as you just heard, all of us met, financial services. We've been in corporate America. We've done a lot of things, right? So when you hear the term staying too long, what does that mean to you all personally?
You've let the length of time or duration for something that may have been seasonal expire. And so that's what I think it means when you stay too long in something.
So you've stayed beyond your season. Your season has expired. I like that. Okay.
Definitely. Yeah, I definitely agree with that. It's like, I feel like it's when you no longer feel like you are growing or thriving in your environment. And you feel like sometimes, like, if you feel like you're moving backwards rather than moving forward, or you're not being productive, or you don't feel like you're being productive anymore. I think that can also be telltale signs that you might be staying too long.
I love that. Toya, I kind of go back to what you said, seasons. I think that really hits the spot. I look here and I have a window and I have a bunch of trees and I see a bunch of leaves on the trees because it's, summertime. And in this season, these leaves give the tree life. They give photosynthesis, they give energy. But in the next season, fall, all these leaves fall off the tree because what gave them life in this season, in the winter season, would take life. It would weigh it down. It wouldn't give the tree life, but it would actually hurt the tree. So I feel like staying too long to me is kind of back to what you said. It's just doing something in one season, expecting it to have done what it did for you in the previous season, but it's actually taking life from you as opposed to giving it.
I 100% agree with that. And if we want to dig a little deeper into that, sometimes we enter into seasons that it's just an allowed season for us. It was never an intended season.
What do you mean?
So maybe we're supposed to be enjoying summer, but we're trying to go into fall.
Yeah,
And
sometimes go ahead.
yeah. And so sometimes I believe that the law of attraction, the way the universe works, people don't like when you say the universe, but I think that time and all of the things work together in conjunction with our will as people.
That's so good.
And so we can walk into a season that it may not have never been for us, but it's allowed.
So good.
And we can, if God allows us to stand in a season, yeah, he's going to allow it because we're going to take something away from it. But when we've gotten all, like you said, all that we can get from that, then it's extended and it serves no purpose anymore. And then it just becomes disruptive.
Well, like for me personally, sometimes I feel like I might even recognize I'm not in the right season. And I might feel misaligned, but I still struggle to leave. Why do you think that's the thing? Like, why do you think that's in us? Why do people recognize the misalignment? I shouldn't be in this job. I shouldn't stay in the season. I shouldn't be with this person, but still struggle to leave. Like, any advice on that, Val?
I think that some of it comes from fear. I think that you have that fear of the unknown, fear of, okay, what am I going to do if I leave this season?
Yeah.
Right? And then what's going to happen? And I think another thing is you question, like, okay, is it me, or is it the time? Is it the season? Am I the issue, or is it the season? Right.
Yeah.
To move forward. So I think that those can be the things that tend to hold us back from moving forward. But I think that that's why I feel like it's good to take that time, fast, take time to yourself, think, and think about these things like, okay, where I'm at now, like, do I feel like I have the passion that I had for it before? Do I feel like I'm moving forward? Am I happy? Or am I just stagnant? Or am I just comfortable? So I think taking that time to just kind of reflect and think things through can help to give you the idea of knowing whether or not, okay, this is the season, this season's now over, I need to now move forward.
It's good.
Ooh, you said some things there, because when I think about it, the things that you said was fear. Right. That was definitely one of them. And then just being comfortable.
Yeah.
And a lot of us don't want to move into discomfort. We want to stay in what's comfortable because that's a safe space. But what you really don't realize that you're doing is you're actually stunting that growth.
Yeah.
And you're limiting where you could actually go. So how do you all feel? Because we already talked about fear, the fear of the unknown playing a role into this, right? We talked about a sense of security with your comfort level. But how do you feel that identity gets tied to the jobs, to the relationships, to the roles? And I want to go a little bit deeper with that too. How can people know for sure that they have defined their identity for themselves? They know who they are.
That's powerful.
So that's one of the things that in this past season I have really been dealing with, is getting to know who I am as a person, why it is that it feels good to connect my life to somebody else's life and make that my identity. And what I have determined is there are so many things that make that happen. And it starts with wherever your insecurities begin. And so I think for a lot of people, you don't know what you don't know until you have to know it. And for me, I had to get to a breaking point to know what I didn't know about me. And that was, yes, I didn't know who I was. I connected myself to everybody else's identity. I had a boyfriend who was into sports, and so that became my identity. I went and did sports games with him when I never did that before, but that's what I wrote in my bio when I got ready to take a new job, is that's what I like to do, right? That was not at all what I like to do, but that's what my identity became, because I was connecting myself to someone for the lack of something that I had in my life individually.
Toya, I feel like that's so good. And it's just so human though, right? Like who are we except in relation to everything else? Like relativity is just the basis of the universe. Something's hot because it's not cold. Something's there because it's not here. Something's up because it's not down. So we a lot of the times base our identity based off of someone else's interpretation or our relationship with it. And I feel like all too often, if we have human relationships and we're basing our identity off someone else, another person, we get this deep-seated root of unworthiness. Or who are we if we're not in the sports? Who are we if we're not with the person? Who are we if we're not the job? And it's just so toxic. Dr. King said, and the blueprint, I believe, like, what's the blueprint of your life? The number one blueprint of your life should be a deep belief in your own dignity, your own worth, and your own somebodyness. That we never allow anybody to make us feel like we're nobody. We feel that we count. We feel that we always have worth, and we feel that our life has ultimate significance. And I think that a lot of the times we lose that because we place our identity in another person as opposed to who we should place our identity in, the ultimate relationship which is, God. Because if we place our relationship, our identity in another person, how do we, guide that self-worth? How do we do it? It's a performance based, right? If we're this, then we're being good, then we're good. If we're not, then we're bad. And we judge ourselves by performance, and we never measure up because we're always too little of this and too much of that. So we look at ourselves. Now we have this unworthiness. So we get stuck in this thing. Because at least if I feel unworthy because I'm not performing right, at least I have this job. At least I have this person, and we're stuck. But if we place our identity in God, we know it's not our performance. It's his grace. Mm-hmm. I think it says in Ephesians, for it is by grace you have been saved through faith. And it is not from yourself. It is a gift of God. It's not because of your performance. It's not because of how good or bad you are, but how good he is. Mm-hmm. And if we can believe that we truly do serve and are childs of good God that loves us, and there's nothing that we could do, say, to make him love us any less or be any better, we would see that what Dr. King said was absolutely true when he said that our life has ultimate significance. And we could move past some of these toxic things like getting stuck in a job that doesn't treat us right, or stuck in a relationship that we're not acting right in. I do think it's identity, Paula. I think you hit something there. It's identity, but it's our own internal identity. How are we giving our self-worth?
Right.
Any thoughts on that?
Well, Valerie, my question to you would be, so we're saying this word identity, but what is the definition of it? Like, how do you define identity? Because I feel that if we don't level set what identity is, this is why people don't know that they are not identifying with who they truly are, but are attaching themselves to other people or things, not realizing that they are taking that and morphing it into their identity. So what is identity? What is your identity journey, Ben Val?
That's a good question, because the way that I've caught myself is I tend to look at, people say I'm good at this, right? So this must be, what I should be doing, right? Because I'm good at it. But is that something I have a passion for? Or am I just doing it because I've been told I'm good at it? Because you can be good at things, but it's not necessarily your passion or in what you want to do and what you are identifying as your passion for that you want to do, right? So I feel like for me, that has been the identity journey for me, because I'm always, been known as, oh, you're a great leader, you're great at leadership, right? So, okay, management, right? But maybe that doesn't mean I need to be a manager. Maybe that means I need to lead a nonprofit, or something, you know what I mean? So, or something that's more closer to my passion, right? So to me, I think that's how the journey has been for me, is to take myself out of like what other people have told me, I guess, that I am, and to kind of look more into, okay, what is it that I want to do? What is it that I enjoy? What do I have the passion for?
I 100% agree with that. I'm in a space right now, in a season right now, where, and Val and Toya, and so this too, where I am in a point where I need to be, my cup needs to be refilled up, because I've given so much of myself. I haven't lost myself, but I've given so much of myself that this year, there's just been a lot of shift. There's a lot of reevaluation, a lot of self-introspection, a lot of self-reflection on really and truly, where am I going to go in this next milestone of my life, right? What do I want to do? And why am I holding on to things? What's interesting that's happening to me though, so all of us here on the phone, clearly faith-based Christian, right? Everybody has their own belief. We're not trying to say that you have to change your belief or anything like that. But one thing that I'm realizing is I'm being pulled out of situations, whether I want to or not.
What do you mean, Paula?
So there's organizations that I'm not doing nothing, but I am being pulled out of. There are people that I'm letting go and different people entering into my life. There are opportunities that are now coming based off of all of the laboring and things that I've done in the past. And now those things are blossoming, right? So all those seeds I've sown are now harvesting. And so I'm being moved and I'm being positioned in ways and going through things that I'm not even given the chance to say no. The no is done for me.
Yeah.
And I truly believe the reason I'm in this space now is because I took the time, just like Toya said, and just like Val said, to spend a lot of time on not living for other people, but living for me, which comes with some hard decisions you got to make, because there are going to be some people you're going to have to let go and they're going to be upset.
Mm-hmm.
But if they truly cared about you and truly understood who you are and where you are going, they actually wouldn't be upset. They would actually be probably one of your biggest cheerleaders, because not everybody elevates or goes with you in every season of your life. People are there for a season, a reason, and you do have those lifetime friends or family or whoever, right? But I do believe I'm in this space right now where I put so much work into that I'm making some real hard decisions. But you know what is so interesting about it? They're hard decisions, but I feel so much peace.
That's good. That's good. It's hard though. I feel like going back to the season thing, you think about like farmers, and I'm not a farmer. So if I get this wrong, farmers listening, my bad. Okay. Well, actually, it's okay. I'm my bad. But like, I think about seasons, and I think about the season that you are probably just, or, the season that all of us want to get to, right? We want like the harvest. I want to like do big things, be successful. But a farmer knows in that season, that's usually the hardest work, right? Super hard work. And that you got to, pull up all of the vegetables or all the things that you're growing. And that takes a whole lot of work. That harvest, that time that we think that we want, that plenty, is a lot of hard work. But after that hard work, because I've seen you in that place, Paula, I've seen you not flexing your no muscle as much as you should, doing everything for everybody, pouring into everybody. I mean, you started this podcast, you just said, man, I feel a little rusty, but I got 2 podcasts coming up. I remember when you jumped on, like, yeah, this is my 19th podcast this week. It's like, 19? Dang, like your voice okay? And you were in that harvest season. You were really doing things. But then you went into the winter season. And the winter season is rest. It's rest and recover. It's let me just rest my hands and my body from this hard harvest. And let me clear away all this stuff, till the soil to make sure it's ready for the next planting season. And now the soil is aerated and the people and the weeds are out of your life that you had to pull out and do all this stuff, and your soil is ready. And I see you planting again. So I'm excited for your harvest. But again, your hands are going to get nice and rough, and you're going to be doing 19 podcasts, and you're going to rinse and repeat. And it's that harvest season where you have to know that what made you successful in the one is not going to make you successful in the other. Because if you rested and recovered during the harvest, you'd have missed it. And then you'd go into the winter trying to like plant and do stuff, and the soil would be jacked up. And then you go into the spring thinking that you're going to have things growing, and nothing's growing. So you really have to be aligned with what season you're in. And sometimes that's tough. How do you guys recognize that? Like, how do you recognize, all right, I'm acting winter right now, and it's summertime, and I need to jump ship. AKA, I'm in a relationship that isn't fruitful. There's no harvest, and I need to respect myself and this person, let them free to get something that's working, and let me free to get something that's working, whether that be a relationship or a job or whatever. Like, any advice in that realm?
I think I had to figure out, really, when I think of identity, what am I identifying with at this point? And what serves me in that space? And those are the questions that I'm starting to ask myself all the time. Like, is this serving me? How is it serving me? If it's not, then there's no reason for me to even be bothered with it. And I've learned now, if I have the feeling in my heart where it's too hard for me to do it, and it's not like that type of heart where it's something that is a God-led thing that's hard for me to do. There's a difference. You know the difference when it's that, and you know the difference when it's the other thing. It's just I'm forcing myself to be in this space. I'm forcing myself to like this person. I'm forcing myself to accept what they give. Or I feel like I can't be me around them because it's not good for them. You know? So if it's any of that combination of things, I know, nope. But I had to learn that.
Yeah. How'd you learn it? Was it like a cost you were saying? Because I feel like there's an emotional and mental cost of staying too long.
Yes, because I did. I literally, the way I have arrived at this place in my life today is I had to literally go through something very hard, relational. And it was hard to the point where it broke me down, and I had to say, I need help, because I don't know what it is about me that is getting the same person over and over again in a different body with a different voice. What is it about me that continues to grab that type of person and cling to them? And so that is when I knew I needed help this last go round. I was like, you need help. It's time for you to raise your hand.
Sounded like you're in a cycle, like you're just in a loop.
Yes.
Why do people, you think, repeat the same patterns in different situations? Because they say, like, hey, if you break up with 10 people and they're all telling you the same thing, it's probably not the 10 people, it's probably you. There's some kind of pattern. Like, how do you recognize that pattern in yourself?
For me, I knew I was getting the same type of person over and over again. Number one, because they fed something that was an insecurity in me.
Oh, that's good.
And so they made it comfortable for me to be insecure in that space.
That's good.
Not that they were kind about it, but it just made me feel comfortable because, as some people say, at least I know what door they're coming in, when they should not be coming in that door at all. You know, so that's part of what it was. And then, yes, you hear somebody say over and over again, you give too much of yourself to this and not enough attention to this. Well, if everybody is saying that to me, yes, there's something to it, and I need to investigate. And so that's what that last relationship did to me. It made me confront me and not deflect about what that person was doing to me. What is it about you that is causing you to accept this?
Yeah.
How about you, Valerie? I know that you snuck out. Yeah.
I lost the books.
And you came back. So we're talking about cycles and patterns and the emotional and mental cost of staying in those cycles and patterns. What has been your experience as you've discovered yourself and as you've went through this journey called life in relation to that?
I think my biggest issue I have is I am easily distracted. So I can be focused on one thing and I can be doing good, and then something else will come along and then I'll be going that way. You know what I mean? And so I think my biggest thing is learning to find balance so that I'm productive, because I tend to become, I want to say, paralytic, because I get so much things going on, I'm getting nothing done as opposed to, and so in times where where I need to be moving out of the season or moving forward, it's like, oh, I got this going on. I got this. It's just too much. I'm just going to stay. It's just easy. You know what I mean? So it's actually something that I'm still working on, is learning how to have that balance, learning how to take that time for myself and take that time. Like, one of the things I think I saw was that somebody was saying that they take 30 minutes first thing in the morning and just sit with their thoughts for the first 30 minutes of every morning before they start their day.
I do that same thing, but on the toilet with my phone.
Oh, there you go.
I did not need to think or see that visual. I didn't either.
I need to get up and do something with my life. I tell myself 28 minutes later, and give myself a couple more minutes, I'm ready.
Well, at least you're Persian. But I mean, that was, it was a bit much.
That's good. Like 30 minutes in the morning, just with themselves, just from their thoughts. That must be like powerful.
And gratitude. Just being thankful.
Exactly. And that's what I need to do. Like, I need to focus on doing because I'm too easily distracted. You know what I mean? So that's just kind of what I need. And that's one of the things that I've put for myself to do, is to, like, first thing, I'm just gonna be and sit in 30 minutes in my thoughts. Allows me to either, if there's things that are going on that I need to organize or think through, it gives me time to think about those things without other distractions.
So who's holding you accountable to that, though? Because trying to break that on your own is probably going to be hard.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's a good question. You want to hold me accountable to that, Paula?
You know what? Because I'd be up working out anyway, so
you don't
I
want
have
that
no
smoke,
problem.
Valerie. You don't want that smoke. Paula will hit you up in the AM and make sure you're on it.
I will. I'll be like, Val, you in meditation, and if you respond to me, that tells me you're not.
Yeah,
So
Valerie
respond to me like after the fact.
or that's being distracted.
Right.
Valerie, I resonate with that so much. I'm so distractible. And I get into this mode where I feel like I'm doing so much that the right thing that I need to do is just one more thing on the to-do list. And I get paralyzed. I just don't want to do it.
Yeah.
And I make the excuse I'm doing all these other things, but all these other things are really things that aren't really that important and I shouldn't be doing. Like, for example, like I stayed too long in a rental. How many times? I hate moving. Get packing all your stuff and wrapping everything and like getting a truck and going on. Sorry. I have physical responses on it, but I stayed at a lease that was too expensive, an area that I didn't like, in a house that was too small. And I justified it because I didn't want to move. So it's like I didn't do the thing that I knew I needed to do because it was tough. And I sacrificed the thing I know was going to be tough over a long period of time, but just little tiny cuts that equaled out to way more pain, way more just weight, and way more things that I had to deal with when I just do it in the moment. And I found that when I could sacrifice what I am in the moment for what I need and deserve in the future, my life is just so much better, but it's still pain. Like, it's still pain. Like, you can't avoid it. Tamian says, Paula, y'all should know Tamian by now. He's a Paula Solo famous, but he says you can't avoid pain. It'll find you, but you get to choose your pain. You can either choose the pain of discipline or be victim to the pain of regret. The difference is pain, discipline weighs ounces where regret weighs a ton. And I found that that's the truth. Like, you can't avoid the pain. Like, I just got to do the thing I know I need to do, and it's going to suck. But at least in the future, it's going to be great. Or I could just justify not doing it. And in the future, it's little pains added up to a ton.
So as you say that, what are some signs that it's time to move on that we ignore? Lord, I got a whole story, but I can't tell it right now. I got a whole story on this, but I can't say it right now, but it's going to come out at some point.
For me, it's usually my kids will start banging on the bathroom door, Daddy, and I know it's time to move on. Like, look, I've been here too long. I need to get up, do something with my life. But in all seriousness, I feel like it's usually loud and clear. It's just something to dig your head in the sand.
Yeah, I would agree with that. It's loud and clear most of the time because it becomes, for me, it always becomes like a striving for me to even get along in the environment. And I'm pausing it.
Yeah,
Am I there?
We're playing it off like you weren't just glitching like you were in the Matrix. But yeah, we didn't hear what you said. So back up like 8 seconds. So just like,
No,
yeah,
for me-
I feel you on that one. Hit us like 8 seconds earlier.
No, what I mean though is what I said basically is that the environment just becomes too tense. It's not an easy environment any longer for me to get along in. It's just hard. Everything just becomes hard. And I know then, I need to start looking at something different. And I've done that career-wise in relationships. Like I've known for a long time I needed to move around and didn't, So
I'm sorry, Paula.
Oh, sorry, Chris. I was going to say, one thing that resonates with me when you just said that is, I'm not huge on zodiac signs, but I got to admit, some of those definitions of those zodiac signs be hidden. I mean, it just slaps you in the face, right? So I'm a Capricorn. And one of the characteristics of a Capricorn is loyalty. That can be a great thing or that could be a negative thing because I tend to, because of my loyalty,
you're fiercely
and
loyal.
Because,
you're fiercely loyal.
I am. I am. If I know, and that is something I've had to learn too, because of that loyalty, I have stayed in situations and I have allowed people to treat me in ways that I didn't deserve. Because either I saw potential or I feel, this is how I feel about my friends and family that I'm really tight with. Like you four are in my inner circle, right? So we're real tight. It's like if anybody were to do anything to y'all, I'm coming for them, right? I mean, that's just the thing. And Val and Toya has done that. Don't play with Val now. Val got some stuff in her trunk that will get you.
I'll take a bullet for y'all, okay?
Don't play with Val.
I wouldn't take a chest shot. I'll take a leg shot or something, but I'll take a bullet for you guys. Like I got you.
I mean, I'm just saying. But I mean, the thing that I feel is everyone has value. Everyone has a purpose. And if I've taken time and you've taken time to invest in me and pour into me and me into you, that's an investment to me. And so I like returns on my investment. I don't like to invest in bad ground, right? I want a return on my investment. The problem is sometimes we might all start in the same seed, but we're not growing at the same length, right? So you have to I have a hard time sometimes recognizing that I need to cut it because I look at it as there's been so much investment in it that I want to see a return on this investment. And right now in my life, the good Lord is cutting stuff off. He's not even giving me a choice. It's sort of like, oh, you don't want to move? I'm gonna move you then, because I'm about sick and tired of seeing you in this season. And that's what's been continuously happening to me since March, April. Some people might think I'm being shady or I'm being funny. It's not that at all. Some of this stuff is literally out of my control. I'm just being moved. I'm just being put in different places, right? So sometimes I do think just our DNA and how we're made up and just the characteristics of who we are can keep us in these spaces that we know we shouldn't be in. And then when you think about it, I just said return on investment, right? Well, I've invested so much time in shallow ground, I wasted time. So it wasn't a good place to invest in the first place. So I shouldn't have invested there, no matter how loyal I want to be. So yeah, if you are still close to me and in my inner circle, that means you're supposed to be in my inner circle because some people are dropping.
I made the cut. I'm excited. I appreciate you. I really do. I want to go back to something Toya said, like, how do you know everything just feels off? I noticed for me, because Val, I'm kind of like you. I get stuck like, look, it's just too much. I notice when I start thinking about the thing or dreading the thing I need to do, like that's a constant part of my thought process. It's like, okay, I need to do that because I'm spending so much energy on thinking about dreading doing this thing that when you actually do the thing, it's like, that wasn't that bad, but I spent the last 3 weeks dreading this and I could have just knocked that out in like 5 minutes and I'd have been good. I would have had 3 weeks of peace. So that's kind of what I know it's time to change. But man, ladies, if I'm a creature of habit. Like I drive to work the same way. I park in the same spot. I like the foods that I like. Look at DoorDash. It's like the same couple of 3 that just keep hitting, right? Like I got a groove on my couch that's like each butt cheek is like perfect on the thing. Like I'm in the same. I don't know why we get stuck in these habits. Like why does doing the same thing just feel so, like why do we get so comfortable? Why is change just so hard?
Because it's scary. It's scary. It's flat out scary. Listen, I had a dream the other day that I literally had like careened off the side of a cliff. And it was just so disturbing to me because everything around me in the dream I did not recognize, right? And I went all to my therapist and I was like, I had this dream and blah, blah, blah. And I'm just so disturbed. And she was like, wait a minute, Toya. Isn't everything changing in your life though?
That's good.
I said, oh, yes, you're right. You're right. So that's why I would feel that way because I'm in uncharted territory for myself. You know, I have never been in this space and it's scary to me.
That's so good.
I think it's too like, you know, how you like to have a sense of control of what's going to happen or what's going on. And then you have to let that go. Right. And realize like, okay, I gotta let what does they say? Let go and let God. Right. And I think a lot of times it's like, it's easy. it's so funny because I always get teased because I'm always like, easy for you to say, you know what I mean? But it's true. Right. It's like, it's one of those things where it's like, oh, I want to know the outcome because then if I know the outcome, then I know if I should do it or not. Right. But that's not how it works.
Yeah.
You know,
I'm terrible at that too. I have a deep faith in God. I believe God can do anything. I believe that God spoke to Abraham and said, look at the stars. Your offspring will be as many as the stars. I just ain't never get that text message. God never came down and said, Solo, I want you to be a doctor. It's like, okay. Going to school, you know? So I just have a hard time believing that God's going to do these big things in my life. So I keep my hands on the wheel and I feel like I have to drive. You know what I mean? Like I have a Tesla and I have autopilot. Boo, it starts driving. I'll get like 10 seconds and be like, nah, you're crazy. I know it's 10 times less likely to get into an accident than me, but no, it's driving a little too fast, looking a little too wobbly. So it's hard for me to like take my hand off the wheel. Like Valerie, any suggestions on that blind faith that you need to have to let go and let God?
You know, the thing that I've realized for myself is that I feel like when I'm closer to God, I understand and can hear him better, right? And so then I realize that a lot of these things, like it's typically that the initial thought that I have about something, or whether it's like, you should call this person, right? Or you should check on this, or you should do this. And then I'm like, okay, I'll do that later, right? Or I'll do this later. I'm realizing that, nope, that's God saying, you need to do this now.
Obedience.
Right. You need to do this now. Not when you feel like it, not when you squeeze time in for it. When I put it on your mind, you need to do it now.
That's so,
you know.
I noticed the same thing in myself. The more obedient I am to God's promptings, the more I could hear God's promptings. You said that the closer to God you are, the more you could hear him. Have y'all ever seen that picture that they have? You know, it's all over the church where it's, you know, Jesus with the sheep around his neck. You know what I'm talking about? He's like carrying the lamb. He has like the lamb, like the shepherd with the lamb around his neck. I don't know if it's Jesus, but it's like a shepherd, right? And what I didn't know is we've all heard the story of, you know, the good shepherd will leave the 99 to go and find the one. But what we didn't know, or at least what I didn't know, is that actually happened back in the day. The shepherd would leave 99, go get the one, but when he got the one, he'd bring him back and he'd break its ankles. And it's like, what? Break its ankles, and then the sheep around its neck, and that's why he's walking around with the neck, because its ankles are broken. And they did it for 2 reasons. They ain't probably say this, but it's like they're used, trek all this way or go up some mountains. Sheep. But the reason is because while the sheep is around the shepherd's neck and it's healing, it's very close to the shepherd's voice. So when he's like, hey, honey, thank you for this drink. Hey, sheep, don't do that. Oh, no, it's a lion. Oh, and he's just talking to his buddies. The sheep on its neck gets so used to hearing the shepherd's voice that when it heals, it stays right next to the shepherd all the time. That's its comfort zone. It's used to its voice. So much so where they used to tie a bell around that sheep's neck. So when other sheep wandered away, it would hear the sheep's bell and know that that is where the shepherd is and come back to the flock because that shepherd's bell, and they know it's close. So I feel like when I get into these situations, sometimes we say, I was in the job too long, or I was with the person for too long, or God, why is this cup on me? Why am I going through this? And I feel like in those times when I feel like my legs are broken, I'm talking to God and I'm closer to God than I am when I'm like up and I'm just like, oh, I got this. I'm driving good. I'm cool, Lord. I ain't praying right. I'm like really close to the shepherd. And it gives me like a reset of hearing his voice again. And then it's on me, to your point, Val, to be obedient. Hey, do this. Hey, grab that. Hey, do that. And then as that obedience grows, the voice gets louder and clearer. And now it's like, I know what to do. But then when that voice gets real loud and real clear, he'll tell you to do something you really don't want to do. And that's when you have to jump. You have to make the move. And I ain't got that part down yet, but God willing, I will.
So let me ask you all this as we're coming to the last like 10 minutes. This hour is gone so quick. My goodness. Yeah, it's whipping by. So all of us have been stuck. All of us have admitted that we've stayed in places, stayed with people, done stuff for too long when we knew we should have moved on. All of us had admitted that we have our own insecurities and that we all are still a work in progress, right? So what advice would you give someone who knows it's time to move on but feels stuck? So how are we going to do this? We're going to round robin this. It's going to be Toya, Val, Solo, then me. So what advice would you give to someone who knows it's time to move on but feels stuck?
So for me, I would say number one for me is when you know that you've been spent in a place for too long. I would say number one, like I said, everybody is, they got something they believe in. But for me, it's me. I pray, and I ask God for direction. Number one, that's my first thing. But when you do that, make sure you listen, hear, and obey. Because we can ask, but we definitely, most of the time, we don't listen. We ask to hear what we want to hear. And miss the mark sometimes. So for me, that's what I would say is definitely ask and listen. And then don't be scared to let your faith go into motion by making plans, executing those plans right away. Don't wait.
I like that. I would say for me that it actually lines up to what Matoya said, when fasting, and you can fast from anything, but fasting because like I told you, I'm easily distracted. So what I try to do is fast from things that I know that distracts me. And like I said, working on having this time to just kind of sit in it, right? And think, okay, in my checklist, I always look at, okay, am I being productive? Do I feel like I'm productive where I'm at? Okay, do I feel like I'm still passionate about this? Am I still excited about it? Do I feel like I'm moving forward? And it could be mentally, emotionally. Do I feel like I've had some setback? Do I feel like I'm moving backward mentally or emotionally? So those are all kind of like those are like my checklists that I put for myself to determine, especially if I'm questioning that, like, okay, am I in this career too long, or at this job too long, or, you know, in this relationship, or, you know, whatever it may be. These are the things that I look at.
I love that. I love that. So I would say there's a song when I was at Oral Roberts University in Tulsa that Karen Clark came and sang, and she tore it up on that stage, and we were behind her singing in the choir. And
Nice.
she said, "The kingdom suffereth violence, but the violence take it by force." And what that really means is not that you're a violent person or a wicked person. What that really means is that the kingdom isn't received passively, but it's urgently seized, right? So those who are hungry, who are determined, who are zealous to break through barriers and embrace it, the kingdom suffereth violence, but the violent take it by force. So if you're stuck in something, you're going to have the will inside of yourself. You're going to have to be hungry enough, determined enough. You're going to be sick and tired of being sick and tired. And you're going to have to take that leap of faith and put yourself out there and go for what you want. And it's not always comfortable, but you got to go for what you want. And you will be better on the other side of it. You may not see it at the time, but once you finally get yourself out of that situation, you're probably going to say to yourself, why didn't I do this sooner? Why did I stay so long?
Yeah.
For me,
how about you, Solo?
That's a tough one. I love that we're all really on the same page. And I would kind of echo the underlying message that we all gave is really keep your eye on God. For me, it's about worthiness and identity. And I would, quote Dr. King again and say that you have to believe in your own dignity, your own worth, and your own somebodyness. You have to feel like you have worth, that your life has ultimate significance. But how you feel that is very counterintuitive to what most people, I think, feel. We live in a performance-based world. We have performance reviews at work. We had tests in school. Even our parents that were supposed to be the most loving, we felt their wrath when we didn't perform the way that they felt that we should perform. So we feel like our performance is where we get our worth, our worthiness, our identity, but it's not. Like we serve a good God, a God that gives us grace. Grace is defined as unmerited favor. You get grace, you get blessings because of who God is, because of God's goodness, not because of your performance or your behavior. Your worth, your significance is because of who God is, not because of what you do. And when you believe that, you get into this place of thanksgiving, this place of thank you, Lord, for being so good, because I am so broken, but you love me anyway. And there's nothing I can do or nothing I could say or nothing I have to perform in. There's no trophy that'll make you more prouder or more loved or more worthy than I am right now. And I thank you. And when you get into that mode of thanksgiving, you get close to him and you get very, I would say, sensitive to his voice. And then it's just a matter of, do you really trust him? If he asks you to move, do you trust him enough because of his worthiness, because of his greatness, because of his glory? The only reason you're worth or have significance. And when you feel that connection and that thanksgiving and he tells you to move, you'll say, okay, I love you and I'm thankful and grateful for you far more than I love this job, or I'm scared of change, or I love this person, or I'm scared to be alone. It's about you, God, because only through you do I feel like I count. Do I feel like I have that worth? Do I feel like I have that ultimate significance? Because if I did a roll call of my performance review, man, too much of this and too little of that, but it's not because of that. It's because of you. So I would say, fall in love with you because of who God says you are, because of who God is. And when he talks to you and puts these impressions on your heart, follow that, because God knows what's best for us. He loves us. He really is the Alpha and the Omega, the beginning and the end. And his imagination for our life is better than our imagination for our life. So what he wants us to do isn't for him, it's for us. Us going left or right, staying or going, that's not going to make God any more or less God. God doesn't care if you quit vaping. if you stay in the job or don't stay in the job. God's not going to be any more or less God because you don't do the things that you're supposed to do. These things are for you. They're for us. These things are for us. Toya, you're up there in worship. The worship isn't for God. He doesn't need you to be singing to him. He doesn't care. He's
That's
no more
right.
God. It's for you. Those
Mhm.
goosebumps that you get, that reverence that you feel, that beauty that comes out of your lungs and your heart, that's for you. It's for us. So when he tells you to move, yeah, we're scared, but do it for us because he loves us. So I'd say keep our eyes on God.
I love that. I love that. Well, y'all, we've come to the end of the road.
This is the end.
So final thoughts from me, and then Chris, I'll turn it over to you. So, and also Val and Matoya, after I get through the final thoughts, if you want people to connect with you, let's tell them how they can. If you're on social, you want them to connect. But my final thoughts for this episode would be based on everything that we just heard tonight. Sometimes we don't stay because it's right. We stay because it's familiar. But growth requires us to release what we've outgrown, even when it's uncomfortable. Because the life you're meant to live will always require you to let go of the one you've learned to tolerate. On that note,
I ain't following that up. That's good. So we'll pass it to Val and Toya.
How can people stay in touch? Yeah.
So my social medias are, I'm on Facebook and Instagram. I do threads as well. But Matoya Woods on Facebook and at Matoya Woods on Instagram.
Nice.
You'll see on both of them, I have my dog in the picture with me because I have 2 accounts out there, but I can't get into one of them. So me and my dog are on the account.
That's a sweet haircut he's got there.
Oh, thank you.
All right. And then I'm on Facebook, Valerie Washington. I'm also on Instagram. My Instagram handle is N as in Nancy, and it's 657906 X as in X-ray.
I got to ask you, what'd you choose that one for, Valerie? That's a really interesting handle. It's actually 278995785 as an X-ray. It's like, okay, does that have some significance? What is that?
It actually, I honestly believe that it came from, because my job used to have like this social media that we could do at work. And it was like a part of my employee ID number, but then it had like some letters and stuff, mixed in with it.
Mm-hmm.
So I was doing it through work. Didn't even know I had Instagram. Then one day somebody said something to me like, hey, why is your Instagram handle N657906? And I was like, oh. So I go out there I am.
No, the same employee ID number?
Yes. Well,
that's wild.
Full employee ID number. It's like with some letters mixed in with it.
Yeah.
So apparently it's my job's, my digits from my job, but that's my Instagram handle. I just
I'm getting an impression from the Lord. It's my next lottery winning. 657906X. With the X is probably a multiplier, so I'm about 2. And I'm gonna hit. And when I hit Valerie, I'm gonna hook you up.
For sure.
I'm gonna hook all 4 or all 3 of you up.
Appreciate you. Take us out, Solo. Take us out.
I just want to thank you all first and foremost for being here. Like, really, thank you. I really enjoyed this episode. I hope everyone out there enjoyed it as well. I hope the conversation sparked something in you. So please share it. Share it with someone who needs to hear it. They say that whenever you're learning something or you hear something that's impactful, if you approach it with the intention to teach or share it with another, your comprehension and your retention skyrocket. So if you ain't going to do it for someone who needs to hear it, your partner, your friend, your circle, whatever, do it for your own retention, your own comprehension. So thank you again for engaging and listening. To keep the conversation going, please subscribe. We have the YouTube. We have all of those bad boys. Turn on notifications, hit the bell. If we go live, do all the things. And we will see you next time. Paula, back to you.
Thanks, y'all. That's a wrap.